Mikhail Tal defeats Tigran Petrosian in this game with his beautiful attacking game as usual. So Tal is basically playing with the white pieces here, and Tigran is playing with the black pieces here. And after d4 played by Tal, d6 is played, and knight to c3 by Tal, and knight to f6 by Tigran basically. So the development moves on the king side allows him to castle on the king side, and this is the book defense, classical variation of the book's defense on the board. So bishop to e2 now by Tal, allowing him to castle on the king side as well, and both the players castle as of the fifth and sixth moves. And after that, knight to c6 put pressure on the central d4 pawn. So the pawn push to d5 attacking the knight, and the knight again goes back to b8 into the originating square. Because if you come over here, this knight can capture, and your pawn structure could be damaged quite early in the game. So rook to e1 now, supporting this e4 pawn over here. It's a weak square, and e5 by Tigran, and this allows the en passant d into e6 here, and bishop captures the e6 pawn, also covering up that f7 square nicely, and bishop to f4 by Tal now, and the pawn push to h6 happens now, because the idea is to bring your queen over here, double up, and eliminate this particular defender bishop, which is guarding the king over here, so that you can launch an attack on that particular king side. So knight goes to d4, attacking that bishop which is guarding that particular f7 square and the king, and the bishop retrieves, and now the queen goes to d2, doubling up on that particular dark square diagonals, creating a battery. So now because this pawn was attacked twice, you need to bring your king over here, so that this pawn is nicely defended and the king is also defended. So e5 now, attacking the knight and also the pawn. So the pawn had to capture, and after that the bishop captures back, and the knight now comes to e4, attacking that queen. You can take the knight, but the better move was to bring your rook over here. So if you take a knight here, your bishop will be gone. So the knight is taken, and the bishop is basically taken back, and knight to f3 by Tal, attacking that dark square bishop, and the bishop retreats to g7. So like on a piecewise basis, these two bishops are pretty active, but Tigran's queen side is pretty much inactive, whereas Tal's pieces are more or less very active. This rook can just jump to d1 pretty soon, and it can create pressure on that particular d7 square on the bishop if required. So rook now comes to d1, and queen gets away to c8, getting away from that x-ray attack and the pin. So bishop to c4 now, attacking this weak f7 pawn. So bishop goes to e8, protecting that f7 pawn, and knight to e5 check. And this is where the game changes basically. So as of now, Tal is slightly ahead because of his position, but here Tigran commits a mistake. He captured this knight like this, which is a mistake. A better move was to take your king to safety to the h8 square, but he didn't do that. So after that, the knight captures with a check, and the king had to go back to g8. So this allows the queen to come to f4, create more pressure on that f7 square. This pawn here is pinned, so if it's possible, you can still capture this pawn over here. But the knight to d7, which is a blunder, is played. This is where the match really changes. So after this move is played, the rook captures the d7 pawn, and even when this move was played, if the rook captures, it's checkmate written on the board right now. So after the bishop captures back, now this f7 pawn is weakened. So the bishop captures with a check, and if the king moves away to h8 like this, the checkmate will happen like this. And if the instead of if you just capture with your rook like this, the checkmate will happen like this basically. So no matter what you do in that particular position, the checkmate will happen, and Tigran will lose the match. So because of that, he chose to resign as of the 23rd move. So this is just an engine combination that I'm showing you on how the match will end. So as of this position, Tigran resigned the game because it was pointless to continue, or any other, all the combinations would have led to his checkmate in this particular game. So that's the game. So thanks very much for watching. We'll be back with more such videos. So if you haven't followed or subscribed us yet, please do so. We'll be posting more videos of Tal and other great players, and soon we'll be also be launching some free courses where you can use to improve your chess skills as well. So thank you very much. We'll be back with more such videos.